Good morning. Barry Bryson here. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. We're continuing our study of the Gospel of Matthew. We're in chapter 2, verse 1, and we're going to read through verse 12. Now, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, the Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, Where is he who has been born King of the Jews? For we saw his star in the east and have come to worship him. And when Herod the king heard of it, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. So this spread quickly. Of course, the arrival of these three guys would have been a public event, a media event. Gathering together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he began to inquire of them where the Christ was born. And they said to him, in Bethlehem was to be born. And they said to him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet, and you, Bethlehem of Judah, are by no means the least among the leaders of Judah, for out of you shall come forth a ruler who shall shepherd my people Israel. This is from Micah chapter 5, verse 2. Herod secretly called the Magi and ascertained from them the time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and make careful search for the child. When you've found him, report to me, that I too may come and worship him. And having heard the king, they went their way, and lo, the star which they had seen in the east went on before them until it came and stood over where the Christ was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And they came into the house and saw the child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And opening their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned by God in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed to their own country by another way. There's so much here. There's so much in this account that we have to think about. Okay, Jesus is born during the reign of Herod, and as we know from Luke's Gospel, during the reign of Caesar Augustus. Who is Herod? Herod the Great, that's how he is known. Herod came to power during the Roman occupation of Palestine as a successful collaborator with the Romans. The first triumvirate, and then he gave his allegiance to Mark Antony, and then when Mark Antony lost the Battle of Actium, he quite deftly switched his allegiance to Octavian, who was to become Augustus Caesar, and he stayed in power until he died in 4 BC. So Jesus was not born in 1 AD. Jesus was born sometime before 4 BC because he was born during the life of Herod, probably somewhere around 6, 7, 8 BC. So Herod is an Idumean, which is another way of saying an Edomite. When the Babylonians conquered that part of Palestine and hauled away the southern kingdom into captivity, and other peoples moved in, the Edomites were destroyed as well, but ethnically they survived as a people, intermingled with others, and that group became the Idumeans. And Idumean and Edomite are very close, words. You can tell that one is derived from the other. His wife, Mariamne, is a Jew, and he is king of the Jews. The Roman gives him that title, and he's very jealous of anyone who might seek his power. It would be interesting to have someone who knew how to do an analysis of him, according to the DSM, tell you something about him. He's murdered 2 of his children already. 2 of his sons have already been murdered because he thought they were becoming too popular and too powerful. His son Aristobulus, he had drowned in a swimming pool and made it look like it was just horseplay. But he's murdered 2 of his children already. A common saying of the day, according to Josephus, was, it's better to be one of Herod's pigs than one of Herod's sons. And of course, his sons and grandsons are going to populate the rest of the Gospels in the book of Acts. So we're going to meet a bunch of them, and granddaughters as well. But this family is, oh, heavens, it's really, really messed up. So we shouldn't be surprised at what he is about to do. these wise men from the east, these magi, who are they? Well, they're very wealthy. They're from, the highest classes and best educated classes of Persian society. They are Persians. Are they astrologers or astronomers? And the answer to that question is yes, because really the first sophisticated astronomers that wrote their findings down were the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Babylonians before them. But they also were astrologers because they believed God was speaking to them through the heavens. And they follow a star all the way to Jerusalem. And then they lose the trail for some reason because they have to ask, where is he? What does it mean they followed a star? Commentators and scholars over the years have tried to comb the Babylonian records, the Persian records, the Roman records to find some phenomenon, some comet, some convergence of planets that this could be that would appear brightly in the sky and lead these men east. I think it's miraculous. I think it has to be miraculous because once they know it's Bethlehem, they see the star again, and it leads them to the very house where they will find the child. So I don't think we can find the phenomenon in history. I think this is a miraculous event. And so they come and they worship the child, and they bring him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. How many of them were there? We don't know. But however many there were, they brought three kinds of gifts. Gold, we know what gold is. Frankincense is the dried sap from the trees, the frankincense trees, which grow on the very southern part of the Arabian Peninsula, in what is currently Oman and the Emirates. And they would grind that into a powder that could be used as perfume and in salves. And then myrrh, just the product of plants that is this aromatic gum that can be used in those purposes as well. Frankincense and myrrh were just as valuable by weight as gold was. It's like saffron is today, and was then, just as valuable by weight as gold is. And they worship the child. And then they're warned in a dream that Herod has nefarious purposes, which we're going to find out he does have tomorrow. And they go home by another way. And Herod is furious. Well, we'll talk about what happens next as we are together next time. Thank you so much for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.